When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom. Child, one of the biggest things that I struggled with as a young believer was my pride. And that was something that God truly had to pull out of me, and only God could have done it. When I tell you I had so much pride, child, so much pride, to help me hide the woman who God called me to be, help me to hide my insecurities, help me to hide my doubt. Pride was literally an idol that I used to ultimately glorify the image of myself. But pride is never who you are, it's who you want the world to view you as. And so when God consistently brought me back to verse 2 of Proverbs 11, I knew it was because I had something to tell, and I have personal experience with that which is pride and pridefulness. As believers, I think pride is something that we struggle with the most, and oftentimes we will relegate our pridefulness to confidence or godfidence or knowing who God called us to be. But in reality, a lot of times our pride becomes an ego and ultimately creates a barricade between us and God. God can't move when you moving in pride. God cannot move through that, because that ultimately becomes the God that you are serving. When you're not necessarily sure about who God called you to be, you'll use these man-made things like your degree, like your image, the way you dress, your hair, the way you look. You'll use these man-made things and these man-made acknowledgments and accolades to ultimately present an image of yourself, and that is often bolstered in pride. Pride is not of God, and so never get confidence and pridefulness confused. You can be proud of the things that God has called you to do, or be proud of the person who God has called you to be, without staking your value in that thing. And I think that's where the slippery slope comes when it happens to do with pride. For me, I was a young attorney, and God would not allow me to put my degrees on the wall. That's the thing that attorneys do. They put their degrees and all of their accomplishments on their office walls. God won't have it with me, because God knows that that was the area where I would often falter in, and that I had to truly be consecrated in. And so when it comes to these little things that can make me get back into a prideful space, I have to make an active decision to stay away from things and mindsets that cause me to become prideful. And that is the very way that the enemy can once again sneak into my life and cause me to begin to be the person who God called me away from. Because I know that pride is something that I personally struggled with, it's something that I'm always looking out for, because I know that the quickest way to disconnect my intimacy with God is for me to now move in haughtiness or move in pridefulness. I'm proud of the woman who I am and the woman who God molded me to be, but I do not have pride in that, because only God is my source. I am not the source of this. I am the vessel that is utilized to ultimately make all this be. But I am not at all the God in my situation. I am the servant of the God in my situation. And so pride is fruitless, and pride often causes us to lose out on what God and who God has called us to be. Don't be prideful. Pride is of the devil, you rebels. Bye.